everybody, and welcome back to another music production tutorial on how to use and create MIDI to create a song ultimately. In lesson 1, this is lesson 2, we, as you can see on the screen, inputted chords, a main melody, a bass line, and added a drum loop. What I want to do in this session is show you how we can change the chords, sounds, or the different instruments, how we can put different variations on a chord, how we can add a counter melody, and how we can kind of play about with our bass line. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to focus particularly on how to structure as well to begin the process of composition. As this is something, as a teacher, I've noticed a lot of students kind of struggle to build, and nationally, at least in the UK, this is the biggest concern with the exam boards, is that a lot of the students' work when it comes to composition struggle with this more so than, say, maybe performing. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. So I'm just going to replay what I had last time. So here we go. Now, unfortunately, one thing you do find with free software, as good as Bandlab is and as much as I do enjoy using it, you will notice that in the fourth bar, although you still heard melody and chords being played, there's nothing actually written there, but it did work. And it's only because sometimes, for whatever reason, it's what happens, with this kind of software. That being said, I still think Bandlab's great for what it is, so it's nothing critical, it's just something. So, right, what we're going to do first, I'm going to solo the chords. Here's what we've got. Now, one thing just to mention with chords in piano, it depends on what genre of music you want to do, but for me personally, I'm in lo-fi, and within lo-fi, I want to add a few kind of cents or 6 chords in there. Now, if you're unsure what that means, I'm going to quickly bring this up. So, as you can see, this is our Roman numerals for our chords that we talked about in the previous session. Now, I'm in the key of C major, which is nicely for us, all on white keys. As you can see, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. So if I say I want to play or put in a C major 7th chord, okay, in fact, I'll make it a C major 6, okay? Every major chord, if we use it as a triad, which is what we've got there, a triad refers to the 3 notes of 1, 3, and 5. So currently, my chord in Bandlab is the notes of C, E, and G. And that creates a traditional triad chord that we are listening to and using. If I add a 6, which is going to be the A in this instance, it just adds a nice new little flair to the style of music that we are talking about. So I'm going to go back to Bandlab. I'm going to double click into my MIDI. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold down Alt, I'm going to left click and hold and drag up, and I'm going to go to the A. So without it, this is what my C chord sounds like. Now with it, it sounds like this. Okay. Now in the genre of lo-fi, especially lo-fi hip-hop, because of the music is very influenced by jazz type chords and all these different variations, and it just makes the chords more interesting to listen to in that style. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. So this time I've got a G major. So if I go here, okay, I know that G, my 6th chord, is an E. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to just add an E chord. Alt left click down. So now we've got 2 chords using this 6th note. And that sounds beautiful, in my opinion, okay? Now what I want to do with the A minor is not add anything. In my experience of creating lo-fi music in the past, I have tended to find that it doesn't really work as nicely for me on the minors. Obviously, if you've used it before and it sounds great, this is all subjective. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the F, and again, I'll bring it up for you so you can see. In a major, I'm looking for the D note, so I'm just going to quickly drag up. And as I'm sure you're aware, it's just one whole step up on that one. So here we go. Let's see how this sounds now. Now I'm going to add the note. So this is an A minor, so I can't show you the Roman numerals because I haven't got it loaded. I'm just going to do the same thing. Okay, one more step would be there. I'm going to add it in, see what happens. I personally don't think this will work. In fact, I think I'm on the wrong note, so let me double check this. There you go, I am on the wrong note. So I'm going to actually take it up just a G. So actually, it sounds alright. The only downside is for me, it takes away the minor tonality of the third chord. So I'm going to take it away. Obviously, when it's your own compositions, you can do whatever you like. So the next thing, I talked about changing instruments. So to do that in Bandlab, as you can see next to where it says piano chords is the piano icon. I'm going to select it. Brings up my Studio Grand. Where it says Studio Grand, I'm going to select. And here are all my instruments. One thing I really love about Bandlab is, unlike a lot of free software elsewhere, there's a paywall behind having more instrument sounds, which is understandable. But this is why I like this one, just because it makes life a bit easier and gives us a bit more. So I'm going to go to an electric piano sound, which again is very nice for lo-fi. So let's see how that sounds. Oh, yeah. Okay, lovely. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the main melody. Now, I don't really need to change anything with the main melody. Okay, I do want to change the piano sound. Just to make life easier, this is the thing that people kind of go a little, not wrong with, but kind of overcomplicate things. If I'm using an electric piano sound and it sounds good for my chords, in theory, it should sound good for my melody as well. Especially if I put it with the chords. I don't need anything fancy, is what I'm getting at, okay? So now I'm going to look at the bass line. Now, the bass here, we don't want it to be the piano sound. So again, just in case you're not sure how to get back there, it's the icon. I'm going to find a bass sound. So if I go on Studio Grand, I'm going to go up to electric basses. Okay, now, you get a lot of different ones, and ultimately a bass guitar, for those of you who aren't sure, is a 4-stringed instrument. Traditionally, you can get 5 and 6 and so on, but traditionally speaking, and it's in the lower register, okay? What I'm going to do here is, I'm going to try jazz bass, because I mentioned previously in this video, or the one before, how lo-fi is heavily influenced by jazz chords. It was earlier in this video. So I'm going to use a jazz bass. This is what it sounds like. The other one I'm contemplating is the P bass. P bass is I can't remember now. Jazz and my brain has gone blank. It's a Fender thing. The P bass. I always know it's the P bass. Put it down in the comment section below what it's called again. My mind's gone blank. It's because I've always been more into the jazz basses from Fender. But anyway, that's the side point. So, a new disco bass. Oh, that sounds good. But that's not what we want. So I'm going to go on to jazz bass. Now, what you might find here, and we'll see if this happens, is because of how low originally I put the bass line in, it could be too deep on a new instrument. Okay, not to quote Sum 41. So let's try it. Okay, it's good, it's good. However, that's great. Let's try and mix it up. So I'm going to half this note and this one. Now, the great thing about doing bass is you can create a bass line. So it's kind of similar to a melody in the sense that it's going to continuously play underneath the drums, but it's going to provide us almost with a nice rhythm on top of what the drums are also providing, just to kind of make the song and the sound kind of flow a lot nicer. The problem with just having a note that's held is, as great as it sounds, it can just be a bit bland. So let's just mix this up. So what I'm going to do, click that, drag that in there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make these a bit smaller. I'm not going to go crazy. And I'm just going to take this onto there. Again, it's like, as I said before, so I'm going C to E, back to D. So let's just hear that. Okay, just sounds a bit more interesting. Again, the thing with the bass line is you don't want it to be like how you created the melody where there's these obvious gaps. You know, with a bass, you want to make it a bit more kind of interesting and things. So let's just listen to this part again. Okay, what I'm going to do here is make the notes a little bit shorter. Okay, and then just drag this one out, see what happens from the start again. Don't like the fact it's the same note, so we're going to go up to E. Let's see how that sounds. So hopefully you can get the idea. Okay, any white note in any order, and you can play about this idea for a long time. And one thing I will say that a lot of people don't always appreciate, and maybe I'm slightly biased when I say this, I don't know, is if you have got a good bass line, your music is going to be absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to have a gap here, just to make it interesting. So I'm currently on an F. I'm going to do something that you get a lot in funk music, which is I'm going to do an octave here. I don't know if this will work, so let's hear it. An octave, just to clarify, is the same note, just higher up or lower down in the scale. So for example, here's C. Okay, you get the idea. Right, so here we go. That's all right. Okay, it's not too crazy. Because if I really wanted to make it go absolutely crazy, I could raise the octave 2 and try again. So let's just see what it sounds like. I like that more. Okay. Right, I've got a loop. In the next video, I'm going to talk about structuring and how you can structure this idea for a lo-fi. I've only got 4 tracks at this stage. So I'm not going to lie, we will have to probably create another melody, another melodic line. Okay, but I'll put some structuring in the next video. So to finish this video, I'm just going to have a look at this loop. Okay, and put this together. So this loop, just to clarify, sounded like this. Really cool hip-hoppy, funky type rhythm. Now with everything. Now, although it says here, as you can see on the right, that it's 92 BPM originally, I'm going to slow this down. So a lot of lo-fi tends to be between 60 and 80 BPM. So I'm going to go in the middle at 75. And the beautiful thing about MIDI is it will always go back in time, no matter what, okay? Because you've inputted it, it will never go wrong. So let's try it again, it will just be a bit slower. Okay, and that wraps it up for this video. So today we've looked at changing the sounds. Again, it depends on your genre, obviously. If you're doing rock, you're going to have probably some guitar sounds in there. If you're doing something like funk or disco, you're going to want some octave bass lines in there, maybe some slap bass. And again, with slap bass, that's something you can look at in the sounds. But this is the general process that you need to put together to really work on these. So thank you very much, guys. The usual, please like, subscribe, leave some comments, all the usual if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much.